Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and Arsenal have qualified for the Champions League semi-final, second year in a row. The game ended 0-0 at the Emirates, but Arsenal go through 1-0 on aggregate courtesy of their win against Sporting in that first leg. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. I'll be honest, and I will say it right away. It was not a good game of football, and I really did not expect it to be a good game of football. And you know, the fact of the matter is, because it was happening at the same time as that Real Madrid Bayern Munich game, it felt like even a worse game, to be very honest with you. I think Arsenal had a clear-cut plan. You could just still see the nerves of the players and the fans going to this game. I think that first half was really hard. I think it was a really boring half of football. Arsenal really did not create that much in that first half. They had the ball, but there was no creativity from that first play. I think Gyökeres, unfortunately for him, he did not receive any service in that goal. As it was at number 10. A lot of the fans wanted Eze at number 10, but he did not deliver. I think it was a really poor performance, and there was no urgency. If I'm being very honest with you, I keep on saying there's this fear amongst Arsenal players, and I think it is going to it is going to be the reason that we might screw up the league, and we might screw up the Champions League as well. I think that mental block is still there, and that is why I really wanted us to go through tonight. I think it was needed for Arsenal to go through. And I think we needed this type of performance as well. A lot of the fans are going to be really pissed off. You are going to have people coming out and they are going to say, it was a bad performance. The players did not turn up, and a lot of the things are going to be said. But if I'm being very honest with you, if you look at that first half, the first instinct of every Arsenal player was to not concede in that first half, and I think they did a really good job. I think they had one shot, Sporting, where they hit the crossbar. Apart from that, they really also did not do anything special. If we are not scoring, we shouldn't be conceding, I think, and I think they did that very well in that first half. Second half comes in, and I think we were much better in that second half. We created a lot of a good number of chances. We kept on coming close. Were they really good chances? That's a different scenario. I think the goalkeeper made a couple of good saves, but it is not like there were really good chances, and we had a multiple of those chances, and we put them under a lot of pressure. That was one thing, because in that second half they barely did anything. I mean, they were full completely, especially the last 15-20 minutes. If I'm being very honest, it was all Arsenal. They were completely in their box, and they defended with all 10 men behind the ball, and they just wanted to sit back, and they wanted to hit Arsenal on the counter attack. And I think that second half performance, especially that last 20-25 minutes, I think Arsenal were really good. That's the type of performance that you would have, Arsenal fans would have wanted for the entirety of that 90 minutes. But we did not get that. But I still think that we needed those 20-25 minutes. If we would have scored, that would have been even better. But I think them not conceding and then piling on the pressure against Sporting, I think that was really needed, because you need something positive going to that game against Manchester City at the Etihad. You need some positive thing around, and I think those 20-25 minutes, again I keep on saying, they were not really spectacular, but the pressure that they put on Sporting, and the continuous chances that we were having, we hit the crossbar through Trossard, we hit the side netting through Jesus a couple of times, and I think Dorman had a good chance as well. So it's like you could see something positive in that regard. And at the end, of course, we qualify. First time in the history of the club that we have qualified for the Champions League twice in a row. So even though we did not win the game, and we did not play up to our standards, and I'll be the first one to admit that we did not do that, I still think it's a massive thing mentally and psychologically. I said in my preview before as well that we needed to go through that. That was the main thing, and the performance I did not really care about, but I was very pleased with the way that they played in that last 15-25 minutes. The first half was diabolical. It was good in terms that we did not concede, and you could see that defensive solidity when you have that with Gabriel and Saliba and Hincapié. I think that was really good. I think that the defense was looking really good, and that's what we need. I will be, again, I will say that, you know, that game at Etihad, I don't care if we win, we cannot lose that game, and I think for that you need to have that defensive solidity, and we have that, and that is why this game was so important. I did not want us to concede a goal, and we did not concede a goal. And even though we did not score, again, I'm going to go back to that point, that it was important to pile on the pressure and give these players the the sort of confidence that they can create chances, and that the teams are scared of them. I liked Rice's interview after the game, where he says that, whenever we play the teams, instead of playing 4 at the back, every single team that we play, they become a 5 at the back or 6 at the back, and you could see that today as well. Sporting had like 5 players in defense, and they made sure to frustrate Arsenal, and that's their job. And I think the players have started to realize that, even though it's quite late, but I think they are playing around it, and you could see that today as well. Again, I'm not gonna overhype the performance, because it was not a good game of football. It was quite a boring game of football, and if I'm being very honest, if I was not an Arsenal fan, and if it was not a quarterfinal, I would not have watched that game. I would have much preferred to watch the Real Madrid game, which I watched as well. But on a whole, I think it was a really poor performance in terms of quality of football. But it was a good performance in terms of what the club needed. So it was like a 50-50 thing. I think we needed to go through, and we did that, and I think that's a massive achievement. As I said, a historical achievement. First time in the history of the club that we have done that we have qualified for the Champions League semi-final twice in a row, and we now have Atletico Madrid to play for. But of course, the main focus is going to be on that game on a Sunday. Sporting, I think. The game plan was there for Sporting. They wanted to, in that first half, they had a real go in that first half. They knew that Arsenal were going to be under a lot of pressure. They sensed that from that first half, and after what happened over the weekend, they knew the pressure had increased for Arsenal. Unfortunately for them, they were never really able to take the advantage of the chances that they created. As I said, there was only one clear-cut chance that you would say that heart in the mouth moment for Arsenal fans, and that's when they hit the crossbar. Apart from that, they really did not do anything. I think our defense controlled them quite easily, and in the second half, I think they defended really, really well. A lot of credit should be given to them as well, that they frustrated us. They made sure that we don't score. I think defensively they were also really really well set up, and that was their plan, to frustrate Arsenal and then to hit Arsenal on the counter attack. But I think any other day they might have gone ahead and scored the goal. But as I say, that defense keeps on coming for our rescue every single game, and I think that we saw that today as well. And I think that's the only reason, unfortunately for Sporting, that they were not really able to penetrate that defense. Overall, I think it was not a good game of football. I don't think it was a good performance from either of the sides. But in terms of, if you are looking at the bigger picture, I think this type of performance was needed for us, especially going away to Etihad. I think we still need something, this performance into 100 if we need to get something out of this game. I know this is going to be the time that we are not going to be the favorites going into that game, but I still think, mentally and psychologically, I think the players are going to be feeling a lot better as compared to what they would have been feeling last weekend. So yeah, a big night for Arsenal, a heartbreak for Sporting. That is for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Arsenal's performance, and do you think they are going to get something out of that game at Etihad, or do you think it is going to be an easy win for Manchester City? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of the season, about 50 subscribers remaining, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.